Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Roaring Cycle Spotlight. Ganpati Bappa Moria. Ganesh. It was Ganesh Chaturthi yesterday, and I guess everyone prayed for the wellness and healthy life and a new normal. Yes, but with all his blessings and the new season starting up. So, wish you all a happy Ganesh Chaturthi, and I hope all of you are blessed with good health and more success to come. Today we are having a very unique person who is a graphic designer, a teacher, an arts teacher, a photographer, and also a bike enthusiast. I mean, she just rides anywhere, everywhere she wants, and she is from Belgium. Yes, we have an international speaker today or an interviewee today. Our guest is from Belgium and she is currently riding in Germany and enjoying her ride. Yesterday was International Female Riders Day as well. So happy IFRD to all the women riders out there. We are just waiting for our guest to join. So as soon as she joins, I will add her on as always. So how many of y'all made modak and all that for Ganpati? Do let me know. And meanwhile, we have our guest who has joined us. Let me add her on. Hi, Trui.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm just looking around because I wanted you to show the reason why I'm here, actually. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Do you understand, or is it vague?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah?
Okay. I'm wearing a mask because I'm in a campsite full of people, but I will take it off because nobody is around right now. That's a bit easier, right?
Yeah, it's
Do
good
you
to see
hear
you
me?
without the
Because
mask.
yeah. Do you hear me, or is the line very, very tricky?
It's a bit tricky. Even your image is a bit distorted.
Yeah. So the reason that I'm here, I will just show you now. I'm not in Germany anymore.
Okay.
I crossed Austria and I'm now in one day in Italy.
Oh, wow.
So in the northeast of Italy, which is it's one side of the Alps.
Mm-hmm.
So I will show you what I'm seeing now. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's wow, wonderful.
So these are the Dolomites, and there's another part I will show you now. I will walk to it because, I woke up this morning. I arrived yesterday after a full day of torrential rain. Really, I got soaked to the bone and it was cold. So after a full day of torrential rain, I arrived here and I didn't see the view because it was already late and cloudy. And now today I get to see this magnificent view, the reason for which I came. Just hang on, I'm almost there. As you can see, I'm on a campsite and it's pretty full. It's
Yeah, it is.
high holidays. It's high.
It's holiday season, right?
Here, yeah. Here you go.
That's
Can you
amazing.
see? You can see
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah. That's amazing. That's
So all
truly
around.
I mean, it's so beautiful, so scenic.
Yeah, so I hope to be riding as soon as my clothes are dry, because right now they're still totally wet, and to ride in totally wet motorcycle clothes. So I decided to read a bit today, maybe walk a little bit, and then wait till my clothes are dry and ride tomorrow, because I'm staying here a few days. So,
Okay.
shoot your question.
Yeah. But I think you'll have to stay at one place because we are losing you in a, like, I mean, yes, you'll have to
Okay,
stay
okay,
steady.
I will. Okay, it will be more steady. Hang on. I will try to find my tent back, because I think that's the best place. They have Wi-Fi all over this campsite, but I don't know where the routers are. Otherwise, I'd go and stand with one of the routers, but I don't know where they are. So, walking back to my little tent and to my motorcycle. Then I can show you my motorcycle as well.
Yes. Yes, we would love to see your motorcycle.
It's not mine. It's a KTM
Uh-huh.
390 Adventure.
Okay.
It's brand new, and I have it from the magazine for a long-term test. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
using it for my journey now, and afterwards I write a review. And I already wrote a lot of the review, but
Uh-huh.
it's an amazing bike. Do you have it in India? You have the 390,
Yeah,
right?
it's just launched in India as well.
But the Adventure as well?
Yeah.
Oh. And so did you ride one yet?
No, I don't. I don't own one yet, and I have not taken a test ride because of all this COVID thing. I mean, the lockdown and things like that.
Sure, sure. So now I'm walking to my bike. It's a bit, hang on. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
So I have, for a change, it's very strange. I'm riding with Austrian number boards, number
Wow.
plates. And so, because it's not my bike, it comes from KTM directly, from the company in Austria.
Uh-huh. Oh, nice.
So this is the bike. Can you see it?
Yeah, looks beautiful.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
If you want to ask any questions about this bike, please ask. So I can show you. Yeah, anything else is I don't know. Here it is. And I
That looks
think I
really good.
should walk a.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it
a
does,
little
doesn't
more.
it?
Yeah,
I think I will walk a little bit more up, because the line seems to be falling away.
correct.
So let's see if it's getting better here. Let me know. Is it better here? Do you hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you better. I
Okay,
can't.
then
I
I
need to
think
see you
I will.
clear. But yeah.
Okay, okay, hang on. How should I do it?
Yes,
I'm going to
that's
try
better.
to find a proper. That's okay, right?
Yes, yes.
Trouble is, I can't.
That's perfect.
I'm here in people. Let's see. Here, okay,
1 minute.
I'm gonna sit down on the road. Here you go. Okay. So, how about this? It's not the
Yes,
best view,
yes.
maybe, but
No, but we
okay.
can see you
So,
and we can hear you. Yes.
okay, good. That's the purpose. Okay, shoot the question. Hang on. Yeah.
I
Shoot
can't hear
away.
you.
So shoot the question.
Okay, I'll shoot the question. So, Trui, first of all, welcome to our show, Roaring Cycle Spotlight. We are really glad that you could join us on this show. And as I had sent you a message, our show is all about uh, promoting tourism across borders globally, as well as of India and all places. And we are promoting all riders from everywhere to come and share their stories with us. Can you hear me? I think I lost her.
The best spot. I'm moving again, trying to find a better spot. Uh, okay, let's see. This one is better. Getting here. Okay, because I didn't hear it. So thank you very much for your invitation, for sure. Let's try this one here. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm honored. I'm a bit astonished about the attention because I'm not one of these real world travelers. I'm just a small traveler. But yeah, I was in India a few times and I've been riding with Indian women, so that was the most important thing. Tell
Wow.
me, what do you want to know?
So, Trui, we know you're a motorcyclist, but apart from being a motorcyclist, what else do you do?
Professionally, I'm a photographer, a graphic designer, and an arts teacher
Mm-hmm.
since 2 years. And yeah, graphic designer all my life and photographer also all my life. But I became a professional photographer with a master's degree in 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm teaching now. I can teach now photography, graphic design, obviously, and introduction to arts. Like I could do it to kids or to adults, or like give a general arts introduction. And then I'm allowed to teach many other things as well. But
Wow.
in my specialties are these.
Mm-hmm. Amazing, amazing. So,
And I'm also writing. This is like last 2 years. I became a motorcycle journalist, so I'm writing almost every longer ride I take. Right now, I write for one Belgian magazine in Dutch, and
uh-huh.
sometimes for other magazines as well. So for me, because as a teacher you don't earn much, and for me it's a very nice combination of having enjoying rides and having a purpose, and earning a little money. So that's with the photography and with the writing. So I love to do it. I really love to do it.
Great, great. I mean, it's always good to do what you always love to do. The interest and the passion, it gives that 100% out. I mean, the result is 100% that comes out. So yeah, that's really great.
Exactly.
Yeah. So one of our viewers, Kalpana, she wants to know which camera do you carry on your rides, and do you have an Insta page especially for photography?
No, I have just my personal Insta page, and I'm carrying this camera, an Oppo, which I bought in India, by the way, and I'm carrying a Nikon 610.
Mm-hmm.
Full frame camera with a 50 millimeter lens and a 100 millimeter lens I'm carrying right now, and I have a 35 at home. But that said, it's too bulky. I really, it's always a burden to take it out and start photographing, because the combination of photography and motorbiking is not ideal. It's really
Yeah.
not ideal. I mean, you're riding, you see something, you take off your gloves, your helmet, you run, you rush, and it's gone, you know?
Yeah.
If this, or even if you look around, I'm traveling by myself right now. If you want riding pictures, it's super complicated. So I have a tripod with me. I put the tripod there. I have the timer set, and then I'm riding up and down, and it takes like an hour to get one good picture.
Yeah.
So better to do it with two people, and better to do it with a smaller camera that you sort of like, yeah, but the quality should be top.
Correct.
So it should be a Sony Alpha or something like that. But yeah, right now I have to do with what I have to do. Nikon 610.
So how long have you been riding, Trui? I mean, how did you start with all of riding?
There was no one in my family who was riding. I had no friends who were riding. And the only thing I remember is when I was something like 16, 17, the sister, which is remarkable, the sister of a girl of my class, she came to get her sister from school on a big Harley Davidson. And I was impressed. I was totally impressed. And this was back in we're talking end of the 70s. So it was totally rare to see a girl on a bike, let alone a big bike. So this was the first encounter. And then later, of course, I bought a car. I wanted to get a small Dux. We have these Dux Honda bikes when I was 16, and my parents simply refused. I had earned money for it. I had everything, and they just thought it was way too dangerous. And I think they were right. When I was 16, I was a bit reckless, and yeah. Okay, anyhow. So then I came across some friends when I was 30 something, 32, 33, and they were riding adventure bikes. They were traveling to Africa, and they had these big BMWs and in between 800 cc's, and they were doing these amazing journeys. And I just asked, I was asking around, and I really got hooked. They took me for a ride, and I said, okay, this is it. I want to ride. And that's how it started. So I started in 1993, I think, if I recall. And very soon after, like a year after, I was a member of the only women's motorcycle club in Belgium.
Wow.
And ever since, that's it. And I have been a traveler long before. I was hitchhiking. I stayed 1 year in Finland as an exchangee. I was always wanting to see what is behind these mountains, what is behind the horizon, and meet people, talk to other people of other cultures, and learn. I'm like an eternal student. And so when I started biking, these two came together in a very natural way.
Right. So tell us something about Belgium. You said Belgium is not too good for motorcycle riders, but then, there must be something very interesting about Belgium. Chocolate?
Yeah, the most interesting thing, I think, in my part of Belgium, which is the northwest, the Flemish part, it's the old cities. So the cities, small or big, we have an amazing history and very interesting medieval or even older history that is still well preserved. There's very good arts museums. There's very beautiful contemporary as well as ancient art. And so this is absolutely unique. And it's like Italy. Italy is even more. Italy is one museum, Every single stone has a history. Of course, all stones have a history, but in Italy, it's like there's so much they cannot even preserve it, and or not all of it. So Italy is one. It's amazing that in that respect, Belgium is much less, but still we have our own history, so it's very, very interesting. But for riding, I don't know. You don't go with your motorcycle to city trip, It's a bit, not very practical. So on the southeast, however, is a bit more mountainous, and they have green hills and curvy roads, and that's great. But I mean, there's so much. I mean, Italy, these regions here, that's biking country.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when you're riding and you see the countryside, and uh, I mean that kind of gives a completely awestruck or awesome view, and the mind really gets refreshed when you see all that greenery in the mountains. Sorry, and all the spiraling roads to go through. It's amazing. For monuments, yes, I think
Yeah,
it's more like in the cities. It's instead of biking, we just walk across or take a public transport to go and see those places, which is more useful.
exactly, exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you said you are into motorcycling. I mean, journalism. How did you start with that?
Mm, I yeah, it's because I was traveling, doing these long journeys with
Mhm.
my one girlfriend, with Iris. We rode in 1999. We rode to India and back, and I
Mhm.
really thought it would be interesting for other people to hear and to read about it. So I just offered it to the one magazine that we had in Belgium right then, and they said yes. They published it, I think, in two parts even, and so that's where it started. Little by little, we became a little bit, I wouldn't say famous, but people knew who we were in the motorcycle world. And because there were so few women back then, and let alone women travelers going to India and back from Belgium, which was like, there was none, there was no one. It was even hard to find men who had done this kind of on the road for 7 months. It,
Wow.
there were a few, but they were very, very hard to find. And of course,
Mhm.
you have to realize this is pre-social media. So
Right.
there was not even 99. Email just started.
Yeah,
There
internet
was
has
no
just
social
about
media.
started, I guess, around that time.
Yeah, yeah. So you didn't have a Google. There was Alta Vista. Google just started, I think. There was Alta Vista to search. There was another few, but they were very bad. You know, you couldn't find. There was very little on the internet.
Right.
So what you found was only a fraction of the entire world.
Hmm.
So it was much harder to find people. You found people in books. There was the Motorcycle Adventure Handbook written in, I don't know, in 2000 or something by
Hmm.
Chris Scott, a British guy. And he sort of collected stories of international riders, right? People who had been traveling
Hmm.
in all sorts of continents. And the book was a source of information.
Okay.
No, yeah, so very different from now.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting, right? I mean, to go and research about each place and the routes that you could take. uh, I mean, manually going and researching. Today, like we just type on Google, we get loads of information and we can find out. But then pre-internet, it would have been such a task to actually plan that route from all the way from Belgium to India. How many countries did
Hmm.
you cover during that ride of yours, and how many kilometers?
In total return, 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
It was 7 months, but I must say it was divided in two bits, because in '99 we left with this idea, and I had an accident in Pakistan. I
Oh.
almost lost my foot,
Uh-huh.
and this was after 2.5 months. I broke my leg on all places, and my foot was just dangling.
Oh.
And of course, we had to come back. And
Mm-hmm.
then 3 years later, in 2002, we managed to do the full thing like we originally planned it. And so crossing, yeah, of course, some parts of Europe, but the main countries were Turkey, Iran, Pakistan, and India. That's it, like four big countries. That's the main journey. And there's it's not difficult, you know. There's like one asphalt. If you want to stay on the asphalt on the good roads, it's totally possible. But of course, I mean, not that's not the reason for me. That's not the way to go for me. I want to explore much more, and I want to have bikes who can do many things, who can go off road, who can go in the mud, who can go through rivers and such. The bike can, and the girl doesn't always, but the bike can.
So, where have you been riding now? You said you're riding. You came from. I mean, you were in Germany a couple of days back. Now you're in Italy. What's your plan like?
This year actually is like for everybody has been very, very, very strange year.
Yeah.
And I had normally the plan for this year was in April to be in India again, which I really regret to celebrate my birthday also and just to meet my friends. Then to and then for the summer to be in Japan.
Oh.
And Japan was totally arranged as a motorcycle journalist, and we had sponsored bikes, and so everything was arranged. But then, of course, COVID put a total ban on all big travels, like Japan was off limits. I mean, it was just out of the question. And when the Olympic Games moved, then there's no use, because my last girlfriend, not the last one, but the one I was traveling with, the one I was going to Japan with, she's a proper writer, a professional writer, and we were going to do this together for 6 weeks and write all sorts of articles for the Belgian press and for the Japanese press. And this was still to be. I mean, we still had a lot of work to do, but it stopped dead. And so this is moved to next year, but it's not sure at all that COVID-19 will be gone by then. So it might be 2022. So instead, I was looking around, what can I do here and what can I do? Because I have 2 months of holidays, July, August, as a teacher. So I thought, what can I do? What interesting things? And the first thing I did was, since Corona is all of a sudden, everything is about borders again. All of a sudden, Belgium was locked. The borders were closed.
Yeah.
And it's a tiny country. It's tiny. So I was so curious to go out and see how would they lock a country in Europe? I mean, we have Schengen, you know?
Yeah.
Borders are open. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So I just went to see how they closed it. I thought, is there a soldier at the border? Will there be barriers or whatever? And they just, in general, they put heaps of sand. Big heaps of sand on all roads, even walking roads, cycle paths, everything. So, which was very strange to be locked up in a country.
Yeah.
And then I decided to ride the entire border of Belgium. So I spent 10 days. That was 1,500 kilometers. I took my nephew for like 3-4 days. My nephew is 8.
Oh.
And it's his first motorcycle journey, his first camping trip. And it was an adventure. It became an adventure like the one I had in India, you know? I just turned it into an adventure. My bike looked like I was going for a world journey, you know, because I had my tent, I had food, I had camera, I had everything. So it was very packed. And it was amazing. It was really amazing. I discovered my own country. And then after that, I thought, okay, now I've done 10 days this journey. I will write about it. This will be an article too. And then I thought, where are other borders that I could explore? The border thing, you know, it's strange concepts. Even borders between nations. Borders are artificial, you know, it's made by human.
Correct.
Before, in older times, people were just using the land that they needed, and there was no border. But so then I found this historic border in between East and West Germany, of course. Actually, not only there, between in the Cold War in Europe, there was a definite border between the East and the West, between the Soviet side, the Russian side, and the communist side,
Right.
and the Western side. And so all this has been documented. And now, of course, since 1989, the wall in Berlin fell down. And so the whole walls crumbled and new countries emerged and so on. So that's what I did. I traveled the east-west German border. I was going to continue in Czechia, Slovakia, Austria and Slovenia, but I went into Czechia. I didn't quite like it. I didn't find enough. The border that I wanted to ride was forbidden territory. I rode 30 kilometers, but I was on forbidden roads. And the main roads were not interesting. So I just decided to turn my bike. I said, I have enough with the German Iron Curtain, as we call it, with the whole history and the biking. I've hit enough for my, for my article. So now I'm just starting the second article, and I don't know yet what it's going to be about. I don't have any idea. I think about mountains, something with mountains. I love mountains, and yeah, we don't have them. We don't have them in Belgium. It's very flat. So as soon as I see mountains, my heart starts beating faster. It's like I'm in love with mountains. But especially, I must say, especially the mountains in India. The mountains in India are not even northeast, but Ladakh and the whole barren, really desert-like mountains. That's my absolute favorite. Then my heart beats through the roof.
Yeah, we in India love the mountains. I mean, and I think most of the bikers across the globe would love all those winding roads when they cross the mountains and the difficult passes. And yeah, Ladakh, Spiti are something that it's like the Mecca for all the bikers, or you could say it's a religious place for the bikers to go there at least once in their
Exactly.
lifetime and come back. Yes, and yeah, Northeast is another beautiful place of India. Again, winding roads, but then yeah, it's not barren. It's not a desert. It's a rainforest, and the greenery around the whole mountains is. It's an amazing.
I should do Yeah, I should do Northeast in a totally other season. I did it in monsoon, which was like the worst idea ever. So I should come back, but I'm very bad with colds. I really hate being cold. I can stand, give me 40 degrees or even close to 50, I'm fine. But as soon as it goes down between 10, I start complaining, you know. And very often mountains, that's what you get, you get the cold as well. So yeah, it's a bit, but of course, Northeast was fantastic. It was amazing. And I mean, I know nobody who's been, I mean, there's plenty of people, of course, but it's a very undiscovered gem, the whole Northeast. I mean, and it's massive. It's huge. So I will definitely go back to Northeast as well. And the rest of India, by the way.
Northeast, it rains about like for 8 to 9 months. So the rain start around March, ends by September, October, typical. But then yeah, after October, it's a good time to go. I mean, the season is good. Typically in India, anywhere if you want to avoid rains, you can ride between October until about Feb or March. So it doesn't get too hot and the weather is pleasant and yeah. But if you want to stay warm, you can come down to Maharashtra. Maharashtra has too many mountains. You can again go riding there. So
go. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Yes. Just let me know. I'm in Mumbai, which is the capital of Maharashtra, and I can take you around anywhere in Maharashtra whenever you're around.
Sure. Good. Will do.
So, which places have you visited in India? As in, you said Northeast, Ladakh. Any other places that you've been here?
As a backpacker, I was in the first time in India in 1989, and I just had 3 months, and I backpacked through Rajasthan, through I was in Delhi. I remember I was a little bit in I was in Golden Temple, Punjab. And then I went up to Ladakh, and that's where I for the first time saw Ladakh as it was then. And I must say, I'm so happy I did it that time, because it was, as always, there was a lot of tension in the region, and they had a complete curfew. There was no public transport going up at that time. So I was traveling alone. I hooked up with some other backpackers, and we hitchhiked. First, we hired a guide with 4 of us, and we walked across to Zanskar. So more or less from Manali to Zanskar for 2 weeks. And then we hitchhiked up straight north to Kargil, and from Kargil to Leh. And then we came back through the normal road from Leh to via Darsha to Manali back again. And so we were like 2 months or 1.5 months virtually by ourselves as foreigners in Ladakh. We were like, I would say, 10 tourists in Leh. And since there was curfew, and that's a very funny thing, there was curfew, so people could go for shopping, I think like 1 hour a day or something. And for the rest of the time, they were locked up in their houses. And they were, of course, flying kites and so on. But the foreigners were allowed to walk where they wanted any time of the day. And so what happened was, and this is really funny, the foreigners became the couriers and the ones who did the errands for the Indians, for the Ladakhis. So you saw foreigners all the time running up and down with goods, because they were just bringing things from one door to another just to help people. And it was so funny.
Yeah, that's really funny. And that must have been an experience, you come to tour a place and then you become like a postman carrying stuff for one to another. That's amazing.
It was great. And also, I mean, seeing Ladakh in 1989, it was, my jaw dropped. And that's where my love, I mean, for me, Ladakh is it's my number one. It will always be my number one. But that said, I fear to go back now because it's so full. So Anita Krishnan is trying to convince me I should still go. So Anita, maybe, but I'm so doubtful. I don't want to spoil the amazing memory. I've been back, of course. I've been back so that was India in 1989. Then I was in India with my motorcycle with Iris, as I told you before, in 2002. After 3 years after the accident, and then we rode all across Ladakh, and already there were more people and more, I don't know, motorbikers renting Enfields and going about in t-shirts and slippers, and lots of Israelis, and it was like 90% of the visitors were Israelis, and they were all renting these bikes and all these. So it was a strange experience, but we managed to stay off the main groups of people, so it was amazing again. And then we just also Punjab, then Dharamsala, where the Dalai Lama lives, and Ladakh. That was basically and Spiti, of course, the side valleys and so on, Pangong Tso, all the amazing Kompas, the Alchi, Hemis, and we also crossed the Kardungla north.
Yeah.
We went as far as we could go, as we were allowed as foreigners to go across this very, very high pass. So that was India for me. And now the last time, this was last year in Northeast. And that was it. So I have a lot of India to do still, a lot.
Yes, yes. Now that you have covered the north and the northeast, you need to come down to the center of India and then the south, yes, and the east, west, yes, lots and lots to do. So next time you're around, you have to come down towards the central of India and the west, east, and everywhere. Yeah, you just let us know and we shall guide you accordingly. Yes,
Sure, sure. I will.
absolutely. So, Trui, that has been amazing, and yeah. So, uh, someone asked, like, did you really like India when you visited here? Uh, that's yeah, yeah. So they wanted to know whether
Yeah,
you really like the place.
I do, in a sense that, yeah, of course, for the country itself and for the culture and for the amazing richness in history and in wisdom, and I mean, there's so many aspects of India. Is like it's as just as rich as anywhere in Europe. And we know so little about the history and about the cultural heritage and so on. So it's very fascinating for me, and I always feel that people keep asking, why don't you travel around the world? When will you start to do the round the world journey? And actually, I must say, I'm not so interested in putting flags on a map. I'm much more interested to come back again and again to the same places, even visit same people like 10 years later, and like getting to know the whole thing in depth much more. And so the whole, for me, my area of travel, I think, with my limited time in life, it will be Eurasia, so Europe and Asia. And
Wow.
because I really feel connected very much to this. I feel when I'm traveling slowly from Europe until India, for instance, I see the changes are happening slowly. Sometimes they're a little bit faster, and you just feel the connection through
Right.
the cultures. We have common roots, we share so much, so many common roots. And so if you ask me, do I like India? I do very much. But of course, there's things I really dislike as well. The very little respect for women in general is just mind blowing. Is totally, I don't get it. It's, and like the rise in rapes, the rise in violence, there's so many. The macho attitude of men towards so many women, towards girls, boys. That's something I will never understand. I don't understand it in Europe, and I understand it just as little in India. And I think that's something that there's so much work to do for India to tackle these issues. But if you ask, do I like India? I like the country, and I like the people that I met. And I've met, and the more people I meet, like the Indian women riders, Vima India riders that I met in Delhi, or the Indian riders I traveled along from Nepal to Bangladesh. It was just amazing. I made just friends for life, and
Wow.
and that's the fear. Maybe we don't see, maybe we don't contact each other, maybe it's a far distance, but I have a few friends like that. I don't see them for 5 years. We see each other again. It's like you're saying one sentence, you stop the sentence, and then 5 years later you just continue the same story, because
Yeah.
you were still talking.
Yeah. That's the connect from the heart to a heart.
Yeah.
That doesn't end. So Yeah, friendship. I
Mm.
mean, wherever you go, when you make friends, you don't lose touch with them. No matter, even if you connect with them after 5 years or 10 years, it's like, just beginning from where you left off. So yeah,
Exactly, exactly, absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely. And I agree. Yes, there are issues with, like you mentioned, with women and things like that. But yeah, it is changing. It will take some more time to evolve because it's a evolution. Can't be a revolution. You can't put respect in the people's mind for women. It's
But
both
it's
ways.
getting worse. Yeah, it's getting worse, and that's what's worrying me, and not only me, also my friends. There's also very little tolerance for other religions. There's okay, some small religions, yes, but Muslims, no. So, and this is the kind of discussion that is going on in Europe as well. I I mean, people are people. You have bad people in any religion. You have good people in any religion.
Right.
It doesn't have to do with a specific faith. And look at the human behind the before you judge. And
Correct.
for me, this is something. And India, just like in Europe, is not doing well in that respect. There's so much intolerance. And this is the thing I don't like in India, and I don't like it in Europe either. And I will always try, and this is part of the reason why I'm traveling, is try to bring back the stories of those people, the stories of the people that haven't been heard, the stories of refugees, and trying to listen and just to translate, sort of like translate it
Yeah.
to people who do not have the chance to talk to them. And
Mm.
sort of, I made a piece of theater with refugees, with refugee youngsters. And I just want people to listen to other people's stories.
Yeah.
Don't judge so quickly. I mean, everybody's judging. I'm
Yeah.
judging too.
Yeah.
But um, try to keep your mind curious and open. And that's as a biker, as a traveler, as a human being. So that's really something I absolutely believe in, and try to learn from the other, not to judge the other. That's okay. My wisdom for the day.
No, I agree. We need to be human first, and religion comes later. Human itself, I mean, being human is a religion in itself, where we respect each other's existence. So that is, yes, definitely a positive thing or the positive way to go. And yeah, as regards all the news that is traveling around about India being unsafe and all that, yes, maybe in some, I'm not saying it is absolutely safe, as in that there are no issues, but yes, there are not as many issues as it's being shown on the media. It's more, the media covers all the more of negatives rather than the positives, and it creates an entire wrong perception about things. So yeah, okay, coming back to our biking story, let's you have now that you do motorcycle journalism, which bike do you think is really a good one for touring, especially on long distance?
Oh, that's so difficult a question. For me, um, maybe the bike doesn't even exist for me. But because I find most bikes, even the like Himalayan, is very, very good. The Enfield Himalayan I was riding last year, I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I just missed power. I mean,
Hmm.
it's like, what is it, 25 horsepower? And it's like, come on, guys, make it 45. Then we're talking. Um, but it's too heavy. So I find almost every single bike literally in weight too heavy.
Hmm.
Because you have to think, if you're traveling for a long time, you add easily 20 to 30 kilos of luggage.
Right.
So if you have a bike that weighs 180 kilo, you end up with a bike of 220, 230 kilo.
Right.
What I mean, what are you gonna do on the narrow roads in Pangong Tso with a bike of 230 kilo? I mean, if you're a big, strong man and you're a bit trained, or if you're a very sporty woman with long legs and you're a bit tall, then there's no problem at all. But
Right.
if you're a bit smaller and a bit lighter, then it's gonna be hard work, you know?
Correct.
And so for me, the bikes could all be lighter. But in general, what exists now, I would say the Enfield Himalayan with more power. I am riding a Suzuki DR 650 SE, which is basically, it weighs 147 kilo, which is very light. And then, yeah, adding the luggage. So for me, the Suzuki is still a gravel bike. It should be mended because it's been standing still for a long time. But that's, for me right now, it's still the ideal travel bike because it's so light at the base and it's a 650 still. So it has enough power and so on. It could be a 400. It could be a 350, 400, maybe even a 300 could be perfect. And some of my friends lately are starting to travel on Honda 250s XR, and I think it's a very good idea. I think in general, the lighter the better, and any
Right.
bike can be ridden. The trouble with classic Enfields is they are too low. They're really too low. They're hitting stones immediately, and of course they can do anything, and they have done anything, but you don't choose the easiest bike to do it on. It's most probably it's much easier on a Himalayan for sure. It's been made for that, or on any of the lighter bikes. You know, why not a 250? Maybe it doesn't look as cool, but if you add the luggage, it will look cool. Any bike will look cool.
I agree. I did a all India ride on a Honda CBR 250. Uh, yeah, with all the luggage and
Perfect.
everything. But yeah, it was amazing.
Perfect.
So yeah, I'm
It's
a
really
Honda fan.
no.
So
Yeah. I think you should just go with whatever you have. I mean, there's this girl from Singapore, Yuvena Huang. She traveled on an old Vespa, a
wow.
Vespa of 30 years old,
Hmm.
and she has a most amazing journey.
Wow.
She just came from Singapore all the way to Europe
Hmm.
and traveled for 2 years on it. She
Lovely.
traveled all through Pakistan in the worst of roads. She was in Ladakh on her Vespa. She was at Pangong Tso on the Vespa with all the luggage. So it's amazing what you can do with little bikes.
Right.
It's just makes it easier and cheaper also,
Correct.
and cheaper maybe even to repair.
Yeah, cheaper to repair definitely, and even the spares, if you want, you get it easily or much cheaper than when you take a super bike or anything above 650. The cost really goes up, and the fuel that you end up spending is also too high. Yeah, that's definitely there.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when do you plan to be back in India?
For me now, it's first Japan, and let's see what happens with next year. I don't know. It could be, if Corona permits, maybe next Easter, but it's only 2 weeks, and for me, 2 weeks is not enough. It's like flying. I mean, the flight is too expensive for such a short period. I should be
Yeah.
coming longer. So maybe it will be, I don't know, 2022, 2023. I don't know. I really don't know. I have no idea. Also for my work, I don't know how my financial situation will be. I lost, partly because of Corona, I lost 5 hours of teaching. So I have very little revenue now. And so I have to look into that first.
Yes, I think Corona has eaten up into everyone's pocket really bad, and everyone has to literally stand up now to get back onto their feet and then start traveling. But yeah, it is good to see
Exactly.
you still traveling out there, Trui, with all this COVID thing and whatever is there. But you're still traveling, and we here are still waiting to get out and start our travels across, because we are not yet
Mm,
allowed to cross borders or even move into other states so freely. So yeah, we are also waiting for
wow. But
that.
border, travel the border of your states. It's amazing. I guarantee you the best of adventures. If you just stay as close as possible to the border and you do it all around, you'll be like 15 days on the road. I
Yeah,
guarantee you.
yeah.
It's gonna be amazing. It's
But
really gonna
even
be
the
very, very special.
Yeah, currently even the state borders are all locked, and it's opening up. So eventually, I think maybe in a week or two, when the state borders open up, we will start riding through to different parts
Hmm.
of our country and see more around. So yeah, thank you very much,
Yeah, but
Tui, for being yeah,
you could stay inside your state and try to be as close to the border as
border.
possible, like I did in Belgium. So
Absolutely,
without crossing the border. So that's also, and then the thing is also, if you were not allowed, we were locked down for, you were much more unlucky, I'm sure, but
yeah.
we were completely locked up for 2 months.
Mm.
And I discovered cycling. We could cycle and walk. And for me, if I cannot afford the fuel anymore, I will cycle. And if I cannot afford the bicycle anymore, I will walk. I will always be on the move. And being on the move is very natural for human beings. It's just we are nomads in our souls. So
Yes. That's the spirit, and I
adventure.
really love to see that in you. And I wish all of us were like that, just get onto the road, no matter whether you have a bike or you're on foot or you're on a bicycle. But yeah, I think I will start doing something like that, because I just want to get out now. So So yeah, Trui, thank you very much for being on the show. I hope you loved our show, loved being with us and talking to us. And maybe you could let your friends know how you felt about talking with us on roaring cycles and how our interviews
Mhm.
went. So hope you come down very soon to India and we meet in person. And
I hope so too. I hope so too.
yeah. So thank you very much. Have a lovely Sunday ahead and
Thank you
ride
for the
safe.
talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Be safe, and I really hope that you find like a positive way to go about with this corona thing. And I know it's much harder. I
Yeah.
know it's so much harder in India than it is in Belgium. So yeah, we are lucky bitches here in Europe. I know. I realize very much. I can't. I didn't do anything to deserve this, but I'm very happy, and I realize it that I'm just really really lucky. So I wish you all also the best of luck, and just yeah, try to look at the positive side of things always, because looking at the negative side doesn't get us anywhere, really nowhere. That's my own experience. It's difficult, but it doesn't work. It really doesn't work.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And we are at the end of our session of 1 hour. So yes, we will see you
Okay,
back in
good.
person.
Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Trui, and
Thank
thanks
you.
everyone.
You
Thanks to
close?
all the audience. Take care.
How do I close? How do I close this? I just click on it, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll just
goodbye,
click.
everybody.
Bye.
Okay,
Take care.
goodbye, goodbye,
Yeah.
goodbye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you guys for being with us, and stay tuned for our Wednesday session uh, as always. And do not forget our contest which we have put up, and do take part in the contest and win amazing prizes. Take care, stay tuned, and